Now, the West is a little different. The West is why we are talking so heavily about the play-in this year. Now, yes, the play-in, I think this is a 3 or 4 year thing at this point, but the reason why the play-in is getting so much coverage is because of the West and because of the potential star power that the West, that the Western Conference play-in has. Ooh, my fault. I mean, right now, if the league stopped, or if the playoff or regular season stopped today, you have the Phoenix Suns, Sacramento Kings, Golden State Warriors, and LA Lakers in the play-in. Meaning you have Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, all in the play-in. The West is a gauntlet, man. The West, we talked about the Bucks, when we were talking about Giannis, and we said that they went on a 4-game losing streak where they lost like the Wizards, they lost to the Raptors, and they lost to 2 other teams. While that was not a death sentence in the East, that could possibly be a death sentence in the West. Think about this. From the 6th seed to the 10th seed, there is like a 3-game separation. Right now, the 6th seed is the New Orleans Pelicans, and they're 48-32. The 10th seed is the LA Lakers, and they're 45-35. The margin of error is so small for the Western Conference because of the star power that's there. And kind of like the gripe that I have with the Milwaukee or the Miami Heat, I kind of take that same criteria, which is I look at the equity that you've built up in the regular season, and that's how I determine who is the biggest threat. Obviously, names matter, and their history matters, but I'm looking solely at, or it's not solely, but I'm looking more about this year's regular season, which is why I can eliminate, in my opinion, the Sacramento Kings. While they're really good, while I think Sabonis has the longest double-double streak in NBA history for a regular season, I think, they have been the most inconsistent in the play-in. And yes, that's even with the Golden State Warriors. Losing Malik Monk, I don't know when he's going to come back, but losing Malik Monk was huge. And seeing as though he was, and I think probably still is, the leading candidate for Sixth Man of the Year, that's going to be big. And on top of that, this team, this team probably out of all the teams in the play-in have the biggest case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde syndrome, and that is when they're on fire, they look unstoppable. They look like a team that could find themselves in the NBA Finals. But then they have the very next night, they can look god awful defensively. If De'Aaron Fox isn't hitting shots, if Sabonis is getting a low tier or a low end double-double, which is like 10 and 11, they have no shot. And I've seen that too many times. On top of that, they're playing, if they start today, they're playing against the Golden State Warriors, who I think is a better team than them. When they're firing on all cylinders. So I'm not going to dismiss them, but I don't think that the Kings have a shot of winning, making out the play-in, especially when you see the talent that is littered throughout the play-in. Then I got to go to the Lakers. The Lakers is probably the most interesting team in this play-in because of that flip switch thing. And that's kind of what the West has going for it, is what the hardest, one of the harder reasons, or let me say this, how do I put this into perspective? the reason why it was so hard to pick the one or the biggest, let's say, contender to come out the plane is because when you look at all these teams, even the Kings, I know I just took them out, but even the Kings, when they flip the switch, when they're on firing on all cylinders, every single one of those teams, even the Kings, look damn near unstoppable. And that's the same with the LA Lakers. When they're arguably the biggest team in the West, when you have LeBron, AD, Jackson Hayes is in there, when you have Taurean Prince, when you have D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, they are a big team. Spencer Dinwiddie, they are a big team. And when they come to play defensively, because they have such a height and size advantage over a lot of these teams, they can impose their will defensively. The issue is there are times when they're not playing defense and they're not good enough as an entire team to stick with, like, let me see something. Yeah, they average 117 points a game, but they also give up 117 points. So, yeah. You have LeBron James, who surprisingly at his age is still playing top tier. No, he's not the LeBron James of the Cleveland years. He's definitely not the LeBron James of the Miami Heat, but he's still a really, really, really good player. And you have Anthony Davis, who, when he's on, he can, and I hate saying that about Anthony Davis, but that's the truth. When Anthony Davis has come to play, when Anthony Davis is on and firing on all cylinders, he is a top 5 player in the league. And that's, I think, the biggest issue with his game outside of, his injury history, is that Anthony Davis, and we've talked about this on this podcast, a lot of people talk about it, his biggest consistency is being inconsistent. Because one night he'll give you 41 and 20. Like, God. Then the next night he'll give you 15 and 10. Like, wait. One night he is clearly the best player in the league. The next night you look up, they're in a dogfight with Detroit, and he's like, oh, shoot, I forgot Anthony Davis was even on this team, Because of that. Now, I will say that them having LeBron, them having Anthony Davis, and them being the biggest team in play-in, definitely gives them credence to be a threat. I mean, any team that has LeBron James is a threat. But their inconsistency, especially shooting the ball and especially defensively, again, they average 117 and give up 117. That is why I'm probably gonna take them out. I think they could win it. Win the play-in, but I don't really give them much of a shot if they do make it out the play-in, especially seeing as though they fell all the way to the 10th seed. So now they have to hope Golden State loses out, and they have to hope they get out of that 10th seed, because that means they were in the 8th seed, and they would just have to win one game, I think. That's not the case anymore. So, yeah, I got the Lakers out, man. So to me, it's between the Golden State Warriors and Phoenix Suns. I understand the Golden State Warriors is the smallest team in the NBA. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. They're playing Tristan Jackson or Trace Jackson Jr. or Trace Jackson Davis or Trace Jackson at the center, and he's 6'8". Like, they are they are the shortest team in the NBA. However, when they flip the switch and when they're firing on all cylinders, they are the most lethal team in the NBA as far as shooting the ball. You have the greatest shooter of all time, in my humble opinion. When he's on, you have the second greatest shooter of all time in Klay Thompson. I mean, just the other night, foresee this ever happening again. But just the other night, Draymond Green went 5 for 6 from 3. Jonathan Kuminga has emerged as inarguably their second best player this year. The thing that I am going to, the reason why I'll spoil it, I guess. The reason why I think that Golden State is the biggest threat in the Western Conference playing more than the Sixers, more than the Suns, is because of the defense. I just think Golden State plays better defense because they're more of a scrap. Now, when they don't play defense, we've seen them get boat raced a couple times this year, and that definitely calls for concern. But I've also seen what they look like when they flip the switch, and I think that there is not a team in the NBA that looks as lethal when they flip the switch than Golden State does. And that's even with the Phoenix Suns, with Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal. And also look at body language, man. It just doesn't seem like they're enjoying playing with each other that much. But they do have 3 players that can be lethal, and Golden State doesn't. But Golden State does have Clay, who can go for 30, does have Steph, who can go for 50, does have Draymond, who can go for 15, 15, and 15. I think that it's going to be a gauntlet. I think it's going to be a bloodbath as far as the Western Conference playing. And I just think with what we've seen this year, when they play to their strength, when they play their best, I think Golden State is the toughest matchup in the Western Conference playing. And I honestly think if they do get in the playoffs, because obviously they may or may not, who knows? But if they do make it into the playoffs, I can see them upsetting a top seed. That's just how good it is. I don't really see that for the Philadelphia 76ers, but Golden State, I could see it. I don't know. Think about it. I'm not saying they will, but imagine if they play the Denver in the first round. It took Nikola Jokic a damn near half-court shot to beat them one of them games. So, I don't know. They're averaging. Yeah, I think Golden State's the biggest threat to come out the Western Conference. So, Western Conference playing. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.